Welcome from the gym at Nashua South. It is middle school championship weekend for Nashua. Matt Everett and Jason Roby joining you live. It is the Nashua Catholic Wildcats taking on the Elm Street Eagles. And Jason, already a good day of basketball under our belt and the championship game. We're starting with the girls here.
Yeah, and it should be a good one. You have Nashua Catholic in all blue and the Elm Street Eagles in white and red as Nashua Catholic gets the opening tip. Two teams that know each other quite well playing here in the city, and that will feed the area high schools in the coming years.
And Nashua Catholic taking the first possession of the game. Kate Daly with it now. She finds Emily Dowling, also Ava Tarian, Ava Susi, and Megan Stack rounding out the starting five for Nashua Catholic. Trying to work it around the outside. Here's Stack. She finds a shot up top. That's Tarian off the rim. And the rebound, that's pulled down by number 21 for Elm Street, Jordan Rue. One of two Rue sisters on the team.
Pretty good transition. Nashua Catholic getting back, but Elm Street able to get the first offensive board there.
Here's a shot from the elbow. That's no good. Grace Cardin, and a rebound brought down. That's Ava Susi once again getting involved in the action. Working it down the other way, rounding out the starting five for Elm Street. Caitlin West, Skylar Hugh, Grace Cardin. And on the ground fighting for it was Hugh. Turned over, and now Caitlin West will bring it down. Rue pump fakes a shot and passes up top. Working it down low, Vanessa Reeder goes up, no good off the rim. Nashua Catholic taking it back down the court and turned over once again. That's Caitlin West in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, West showing good quick hands there as Elm Street able to get the steal.
Rue trying to save it, but it goes all the way back to Megan Stack, and she'll bring it down the court herself. Defended well by West. And a turnover there as West sticks the hand in. Steelers still scoreless at 6:19 to play here in the first quarter. 8-minute quarters.
Looks like Nashua Catholic going to extend some full court pressure here against the Eagles.
Yeah, establishing the pace early, and Grace Cardin looking to inbound for West, and she's not able to chase it down. And so an unforced error gives the ball back to the Wildcats.
Both of these teams trying to settle in here. The ball being turned over quite a bit in the early going. I'm sure they'll settle in the coming minutes.
Looking to inbound from the baseline. They'll find Ava Tarian. And she'll work it herself up to the elbow. Picks up her dribble, looking for a pass into Emily Dowling, and she's fouled in the lane.
Have our first foul of the game here as Nashua Catholic goes strong to the hole. They're going to call it on the floor, so Nashua Catholic will take it out under their own basket here.
That's Caitlin West, like you mentioned, Jason, the first foul of the game, her first personal. It's coughed up in the middle, and Rue able to come out of the pile with it, throwing elbows. Trying to get the scoring started, still scoreless. Pass up to Cardin, and she'll go to the baseline with the drive, throws it up, no good. West, the guard with the rebound, back outside to Cardin, 5:45 to play in the first quarter.
West in the right place at the right time there, Matt, and able to keep the possession alive for the Eagles.
Rue back up top, and the Eagles will reset. Clearing out the lane. Nashua Catholic running a 2-3 zone. It's Megan Stack down low. Nobody to guard, so she'll come up. The ball up top to Cardin. She drives, throws it into the lane, and Hugh is fouled, trying to grab the pass.
Hugh did a nice job flashing through the middle of the paint there, was rewarded with a good pass, and that'll be the first foul of the day for Nashua Catholic.
So that's Ava Tarian, the guilty party, as Reeder grabs the inbound pass and up top to West. Drives with the left, down the lane, rejected. Good job putting the lid on it by Stack, but Caitlin West grabs another Stack block. West looking for a pass, trying to find Tarian, but it's turned over once again. And now to the ground, it's Caitlin West. I feel like we're calling her name a lot earlier,
you know,
Jason.
she is everywhere. Good quick feet, good quick hands. The possession arrow points in Nashua Catholic's direction, but she seems like Caitlin West is the center of all the attention here thus far.
And a jump ball here, the first of our what is sure to be many jump balls.
True.
They're gonna flip it here and give the ball. After a brief discussion about the possession error, they're going to go ahead and give it back to Elm Street.
And a great indicator that, you know, if you hustle, if you go after those loose balls, you dive on those things, good things happen, and West is as a product of that.
Reeder on the bounce pass to West from the inbound, back out top to Rue. 5:05 to go in the quarter. First quarter of the Nashua Middle School City Championship for the girls. It's Elm Street in the white and red taking on Nashua Catholic in all blue. In the third year of this middle school tournament, should be the fourth, Jason, but the first year of the tournament was snowed out and they had to use a snow day to make up for it.
Welcome to New England, right, Matt?
Exactly.
That's kind of been the story here thus far this winter. And as we say that once again is Ms. West again with a steal.
She is all over the place. Here is Jordan Rue with it. She'll reset up top. 3-point attempt for Cardin, no good, and Stack reaches up top to grab it. And then in 2016, Nashua Catholic swept in both the girls and the boys, and a travel call there. As we're talking about Nashua Catholic on Emily Dowling.
I think one of the impressive things, and we talked about it earlier before going on here, is the amount of views that these games are getting on YouTube, Matt. What did you have it at earlier?
It was at 97,000 earlier today, something like that.
Views.
That is, go check it out, NashuaETV on YouTube.
It's going to be Kate Daly on the foul for Nashua Catholic.
So her first and the team's second, and we'll see Skylar Hugh to the free throw line. We're still scoreless on the board, Jason. 4:21 to go.
Not a whole lot of offense, but there you go, your first point of the game.
As we say it, Skylar Hugh drains a free throw. A couple of subs checking in. Julia Gadbois and Kalechi Okori for Nashua Catholic. Elm Street sticking with their original 5, and it's Skylar Hugh at the line once again. The second of 2 free throws, rims in and then back out. Score at 1-0 for Nashua Catholic.
Looks like the Eagles extending a little full court pressure there, or half court trap rather, and it results in a backcourt violation on Nashua Catholic. So Elm Street will get possession back.
And a couple of heads-up defensive plays early, as they've been the aggressor on the defensive side of the ball for sure. And off the hands of Reeder and out of bounds, it'll go back towards the Nashua Catholic basket. 1-0 is the score, with Elm Street leading.
We'll see if Elm Street again picks up that half-court pressure here.
Here's Emily Dowling to bring it up. Makes a move to the right. Some motion around the outside. Finding Gadbois in off the bench. Bank shot no good. Stack with the rebound. She goes back up and is fouled. That'll be Vanessa Reeder on the foul. So
Stack did a nice job going through the middle of the paint there to get that offensive board. Goes up strong and will be rewarded with a couple of shots from the foul line.
Both teams with 2 fouls. That's Reeder's first. Shot from Stack with the left hand, no good. A little too much on it. And checking in for Elm Street, Elizabeth Darusha. Stack a couple of dribbles. Still with the score at 1-0. Throws it up and it goes. Tie game at 1. Both teams tied in every aspect on the scoreboard. 2 fouls apiece and 1 point on the board for Elm Street and Nashua Catholic. Reeder, a drive. She goes around the baseline. Darusha. She's off the bench trying a 3, and it's no good, just short. And a little bit too anxious on the defensive side. She gets in on Gadbois, and Darusha with her first foul. So 3 team fouls here. 3:37 to go in the first quarter. And Stack will travel. Just too antsy with the feet when she received the pass. Still a 1-1 tie. Elm Street will inbound. Jordan Rue, the 8th grader. And Nashua Catholic extending that 2-3 zone way out. And Darusha alone on the wing. She drives past the defender into Reeder. Spin around, throws it up. And saved by Darusha, back to Reeder. That one just fell right into her lap.
That was good hustle by Darusha as she found the backside player on the post and hustled to keep it in bounds.
And attempting a runner, but blocked by Stack. That was Grace Cardin. Here's Okori. At the top of the key, makes a pass to Dowling on the right elbow. Back up top to Okori. Almost a strip there from West. And Stack coming up top. Megan Stack with the ball right now, 7th grader. Dowling finds a lane, throws it up with the left, and Reeder rejects it. And now working the other way, here's Rue. Loses the handle on it, but it's off a foot.
Elm Street trying to get that transition game going there, Matt, and knocked out of bounds just before the layup.
Emma service into the game. Inbound, here's Reeder with it now. Another bounce pass to West. 2:27 to go in the first quarter. Throws it up, no good. Brought down, and Megan Stack will turn it the other way. Reeder and West on the defense, and West sneaks the hand in there and grabs it, and she'll turn it around herself.
She doesn't have the numbers here. We'll see what she does. Right down the middle of the paint.
A good job filling in, but an even better follow-up attempt from Grace Carden. And another rebound for Stack and Dowling to bring it up, and Rue rips it out, and she'll travel. So after all that, we'll get a Nashua Catholic ball and a timeout called by head coach Tim Stack.
Seems that's going to be a short timeout, but it seems right now that both teams turning the ball over quite a bit, missing some easy opportunities, easy layups. I'm sure both coaches at this point, Matt, telling them, look, we just got to settle down, play our game, move the ball around the perimeter. I'd like to see Nashua Catholic attack the basket a little bit more. It doesn't seem like they have much of a block presence when they set up their half-court offense. And certainly the Elm Street Eagles doing a nice job of finding the backdoor passes on some of those cuts off the block. And not much to show for both of these teams. A 1-1 tie here. But certainly at some point the lid's going to come off the top of that basket.
Yeah, and meanwhile, defensively down low, Nashua Catholic has been a stout presence so far. Good pressure, and they will inbound here with Dowling to throw it in. 2 minutes even to go. Still a 1-1 tie in the first quarter of the Girls City Championship game. And another jump ball call. What did I say, Jason? We're gonna get plenty today.
and that one going to stay right here. Nashua Catholic keeps possession on the jump ball.
Dowling to inbound once again. Looking for a pass. Stack, a good cutback, and she gets it to go. The first field goal of the game here. It's 3-1 with Nashua Catholic leading.
Well-designed play with Stack on the backdoor cut. Found nicely, using the left hand, I might add.
This is a strip, and Rue, the beneficiary, as she comes up with it, finds Carden up top. Reeder coming in to set a screen. She'll try and back down Stack, but here comes Carden driving down the lane. And a third jump ball here. Yeah, there you go.
Who's in there?
Stack and West. Like we're calling their names a lot today. So it'll be an inbound underneath the basket for Elm Street. Reeder sets a pick, and she'll cut down low and get a bounce pass. Turns up, in. What a shot on the turnaround. That's Vanessa Reeder for Elm Street. 3-3 tie.
Reeder with a nice move down on the block using the backboard. Locked up at 3 here.
1:14 to go in the first quarter. Up top, Dowling attempts a three-point look, no good off the back of the rim, and she'll grab her own rebound, throws it up top. Stack with it, long pass, bounces off her intended target, and it'll be Reeder to West and turned around. Here's O'Corey. She'll try a drive with West on the back, and we'll get a foul call before she went up for the shot on the floor, and I think that's a good call to not allow an easy look.
Yeah, a good job by O'Corey with the quick hands. West had to make that foul as Nashua Catholic had a 2-on-1 situation. That foul's called on the floor, so Nashua Catholic will take possession here.
Susie Daly and Hansen will come off of the bench. Hansen, it's her first time in. She'll inbound. Bounces off Gladbois, and another turnover there. 50 seconds even to go in the first quarter.
Yeah, Susie had not established herself as being in bounds yet. Once again, you mentioned Nashua Catholic extending that defense.
And they have not allowed many looks from outside, and Rue will try and drive. Coming down the other way, here's Ava Susie. Slows it up and at the elbow up top to Gladbois. O'Corey now with it. Swung around to service. Trying to find Susie on a bounce pass. It's turned around. Coming down the other way is Grace Carden. Left-handed layup. She's fouled, and the shot will count. O'Corey not there in time. And we'll see a free throw for an and-one try from Grace Carden.
Yeah, nice job by Grace Carden. Going to the left side, sticking with the left hand, and gets an and-one opportunity here. Great finish by Grace Carden.
So now Nashua Catholic with 14 fouls. Carden with the right hand. A line drive shot off the back of the iron. And rebound Nashua Catholic. 10 seconds to go in the quarter. Trying to get one the last offensive drive. They lead by a 5-3 score. 3 seconds on the clock. Here's a pass. Gladbois Has to fire it up, not in time. Didn't know how much time was left on the clock. That'll be Hansen with the ball in her hands. As the first quarter ends, a 5-3 score. Jason, your impressions from that first period?
Well, I think one of the things I'm seeing that I really like is Nashua Catholic doing a pretty good job underneath the basket, boxing out on the defensive end. I think they're doing some nice things there. And obviously, we've been mentioning Caitlin West's name quite a bit with the quick hands and trying to push that ball. Nashua Catholic been getting back in the transition defense. So, you know, a 5-3 score here in the early going. It seems like both teams are warming up pretty well. And as the cheerleaders perform nice double backflips there, Matt, I fully expect to see you doing that maybe at halftime.
Oh, I don't know. I think that's more your sport right there. I'd like to see you out there. You ever seen the ones where they have the trampolines in front of the net?
That's crazy.
Oh, yeah. I'd love to see you trying that
man,
one.
Oh, man. You better have the 911 on speed dial.
But we're here at the 2018 now middle school Nashua City tournament. For the girls, it's the Elm Street Eagles trailing the Nashua Catholic Wildcats 5-3. And to get to this game, Pennachuck and Elm Street faced off in the first round, 36-27. Elm Street came out on top, and for Nashua Catholic, they defeated Fairgrounds by a 58-8 score. So a little bit of a different score offensively on the board for Nashua Catholic in that semifinal game, but they lead here 5-3.
I think you see two pretty defensive-minded teams here as Elm Street extends their pressure and come away with a steal.
And into the game for the first time is Morgan Gillis. Good turnover. She'll try and take it the other way, but it's knocked down. A bouncing ball, and it'll stay with Elm Street. That was Daly on the defense.
I'll tell you, man, I'm real impressed with these ladies and how they go to the left, and they use the left hand. A lot of times you don't see that at this level of basketball.
Creates a whole different offensive chance, and an errant pass here. We'll stop the clock at 7:45 to play in quarter number 2. That'll be Kaylee Clough checking in. Inbound pass, that'll find Kate Hansen. And a travel called and another turnover.
That's a product, obviously, of the trap that happened at half court. So, you know, the defense being extended here by Elm Street results in another offensive possession.
Rue gets a big pick and a bounce pass. That'll find Clough. And another turnover here, 7:30 to play in the second quarter.
Yeah, Clough was rewarded for setting that nice pick with a good pass, but just couldn't finish.
Kate Daly working around the right side, gets a pick from Susie, and a double team. Looking for Susie up top. She fires a three-point attempt, no good. Rebound, Daly fighting for it. A pair of Eagles and another jump ball. Referee signaling that it'll switch fields and head to Nashua Catholic. And Rue, who's played every minute so far. Rue and Cardin, along with West, really the three main pieces of this Elm Street team. And Cardin with an open look on the wing, just short. She was right in front of the three-point line. Daly swings it around and will look to find a pass. It's Hansen now. Cutting it up and just behind the intended target, that's Ava Tarian. So a lot of turnovers here to start the second quarter as Stack checks back into the game.
Yeah, a lot of turnovers, Matt, but I might add a real nice setup of a play. The last possession by the Eagles, they had a nice screen down low that set up a nice outside perimeter shot for Elm Street, and eventually those shots are going to start dropping.
Rue over to West on the wing, up top to Carton. They've been working it around the top the entirety of the game. Gillis has her pass intercepted, but it goes right back to her. Rue fakes left and will go back to the top of the key. West a pump fake of her own, resetting to Rue, 6:25 to play. There's a drive from Gillis, a pump fake. Chucks it up, grabs the rebound, goes up with it again. It rolls around and is brought down, and here's Stack with it coming the other way.
Give it to
Really?
Susie.
Real impressed there, Matt, with both teams' ability to share the basketball. They move without the ball, they reward each other with passes, and right there you see number 23, Kate Daly, hitting a shot for Nashua Catholic.
Yeah, tied at 5 here with just under 6 minutes to go as Elm Street working from the right to the left. Shot no good for Cardin, and West with the ball and intercepted. Susie steps in front, makes a move on Rue, slows it up off the feet, and Cardin comes out of the pile with it. She'll drive down the far side and towing that line, and a foul call here.
Sometimes one of the things you look for, Matt, is and you tell the kids, and sometimes it's hard for kids to understand this, but the less the basketball hits the floor, usually the better off you are. The more dribbling you see usually results in a lot of turnovers, and that's really what we're seeing here in the early going of this game. The ball moves really well when it's not being dribbled on the floor.
And you see that a lot at the college level, especially with some of the smaller Division I schools. They really do not spend a lot of time in one-on-one ISO matchups, bringing the ball down the court. And West, a shot off the backboard and no good. 5-5 score. Up top to Stack, and a fake. She drives, gets past Reeder, foul. And she'll go to the line for 2.
Nice strong take to the hole there by Megan Stack. And again, going to the left.
And Rue with her second foul. Stack, left-handed shot, bounces up off the front of the rim and no good. Stack 2 for 3 field goals, or free throws rather, on the day. Misses the second of 2, and we're still tied at 5. And Rue pushing the tempo down the other way. Goes for a baseline shot, hard angle to put that one in, but off the backboard, and to give Elm Street a 7-5 lead.
Great finish by Rue there. Didn't have the numbers, but made something out of nothing. A nice kiss.
Stack spins around up to Dowling up top. Her three-point line drive.
She called glass, Matt? I think maybe.
We got these headset on, but I think I heard it outside of that, and that'll put Nashua Catholic up 8-7. A nice three-point look, the first one of the day. Carden tries a three-pointer of her own, and that's no good. Dowling to the floor and comes out of it. Here comes Stack the other way with numbers. Here's a shot, laying up and good. That's Ava Tarian on all of a sudden a little bit of momentum, and this is probably the most either team's been able to generate an offensive flow.
Well, they're not shy, and they're definitely, you know, as we talked about, the baskets, the lid's taken off the basket here eventually as these teams get used to the tempo of the game. So,
and Tarian gets it knocked out. Gladbaugh will check out. O'Corey comes in, as well as Ava Morandi, her first time in the game. It's 10-7 with Nashua Catholic leading, 4:03 to go in the first half of today's action. A doubleheader as Fairgrounds will take on Pennachuck in the boys championship following this game.
And that should be a good one.
Stack, three-point shot, too much on it, and coming the other way, here's Rue. Nashua Catholic dropping back, a 1-on-4, and Stack says no. Putting the lid on it, like you said, and a good block there. But the possession stays with the Eagles.
Yeah, those long three-point attempts turn into long rebounds. Stack able to get back on the defensive end.
West with the left, no good, and we have a foul, and it'll come the other way. And an offensive foul there on Caitlin West. That'll be her second of the game. 3:42 to go in quarter number 2. And West will check out with 2 fouls. DeRusha in. Dowling calling the offense as she brings the ball down the court. Finds Daly, and she tried to go around. And she's knocked over by DeRusha. And all of a sudden, she's got 2 fouls. So that'll be 7. That puts them in the bonus. And that's the 1-and-1. Good catch there by the referees. West with 2, Rue with 2, DeRusha with 2, and Reeder with a foul of her own. A lot of them coming from the forwards here as they are not allowing Nashua Catholic many easy paths to the basket. So Kate Daly, while we're talking about fouls, she's got a foul of her own, 1 of 4 for Nashua Catholic, and she misses the first half of the 1-and-1, so we'll stay at 10-7 on the scoreboard, under 3:30 to go. Wide open is DeRusha in the corner, feet behind the line. Drano, nothing but net as DeRusha ties it up at 10.
Yeah, that was a good look and a great make by DeRusha. She was wide open on the wing and was rewarded with a good pass and knocks down the 3.
Stack, a bit too anxious to get in the lane, and she turns it over. Tied at 10 with 3 minutes to go. Another long look, she passes it up, but tip-tapping the feet just a little bit too much.
A good pump fake and got the defender to lunge at her, but unfortunately dragged the feet a little bit there and gets called for the travel. But really a lost science, the shot fake, the pass fake.
Especially in transition.
Right.
Stack trying to get past Reeder. Stout defense and a foul on the floor. Reeder not afraid to get physical. That's her third foul of the game, or her second rather. The fourth Elm Street Eagle with 2 fouls.
Not the kind of foul you want to make either if you're Elm Street. Kind of a cheap foul, reaching in there, and just want to tell your kids to move their feet, keep your body.
Stack on the first half of the 1-and-1 will get a second shot as it goes in to put her side up 11-10. Makes her 2 of 5 for the day from the line as Reeder checks out. And Skylar Hugh, first time she's been off the bench in the second quarter. Stack's second shot bounces off the back. Rebound to Elm Street. 2:44 and counting. Rue and Carden been in the game the entirety. Almost 10 minutes, coming up on 2:30 to go in the second quarter. And a drive here. Pass up top. It'll be Rue as Elm Street slowing down the offense, trying to generate some kind of a set play, working off the picks in the perimeter.
It looks like it, and they, as they tried to skip the ball to the other side, it gets stolen there by Nashua Catholic.
And there's that zone defense. Corey turning it into offense. It's ripped away. Daly to the ground. Corey with a 3-point shot. Too much. Dowling standing in there on her own. Here's a shot from Morandi. Her first field goal attempt, no good. Daly brings it down, and she's got it stripped from her. Back and forth action down under the paint, and Dowling going in strong like a whirling dervish, and she gets into it with Morgan Gillis, and that'll be another jump ball.
Both of these teams, Matt, very aggressive ball hawks, as we like to call them. They got to protect that basketball at all times because these girls have quick hands.
Dowling inbounding, and Corey attempts the shot, but it's knocked down by Hugh, and Dowling couldn't find a pass and a travel as soon as they were able to grab that turnover. That was Morgan Gillis, and she was looking where she was going before she had the ball, and Dowling right back underneath. Here's a pass to Daly, that same look that they tried on that last inbound play. Daly to the wing.
Good job of blocking the baseline there.
That's service. She went up, and Dowling fighting for a strong rebound. Her shot no good. And a foul on Dowling as DeRusha was grabbed as she was going up.
Real impressed here, Matt, with both of these teams' ability to box out and get the defensive rebounds. Really sets up your transition game if you can do that. And both of these teams doing a nice job of getting those missed shots.
That's the first foul for Dowling, even though she's been aggressive on defense, and you see her there covering Rue. And a pass over top of Megan. Stack, and Gladbois steps in and will come in the other way with it as she drives. Had the pass, went up for the shot, but drew the foul from Carden anyway. And 11-10 score, still with 1:20 to play in the first half.
That previous play there, maybe one dribble too many for Elm Street.
Sometimes it's that extra one that gets you in trouble. And this is the 9th team foul for the Eagles, but that was on the shot, so 2 shots regardless for Gladbois.
Elm Street going to probably be doing some work at the foul line in the next practice.
And Stack grabbing 2 of her own rebounds, just going up over top of everybody. And this is a 3-point lead, tied for the biggest of the evening. Or afternoon, whatever time it is.
You're a busy man. It's all blends into one day for you.
You lose track of time in these gyms. Under a minute to play here, 13-10 score. DeRusha's shot grabbed and pulled down by Stack. We're at 50 seconds to play in the first half. They lead by 3. Dowling from just inside the 3-point line. A line drive shot, no good. Pulled down, and that was Gladbois looking for Dowling, but not able to find her, and a turnover will stop the clock at 43.8.
Yeah, it's clear to see the offense runs, through Stack. She does a little dribble penetration there and does a nice pass to get an open look for her teammate.
And you're starting to see that more in the NBA these days, where the offense running a lot more through the forwards. The forwards putting the ball on the ground a little bit more than they do at the college ranks.
Right.
Hugh up to Carden, rejected by Okora, and she'll have another drive underneath her own basket. She gets stuck. A firm bounce pass to Hugh, tipped in the air, and Okori pulls down the Stack block. And a foul coming the other way, 13-10 the score. They'll call that one on Grace Carden, her second, and that'll be the team's 10th foul. And only 5 players, Jason, with fouls for Elm Street, but every one of them has 2.
Well, they're consistent.
Nashua,
they share the basketball, they share the fouls.
Nashua Catholic with 5 team fouls. Corey from the line, her first attempts from the charity stripe today. No good That'll be wide to the right. 20.4 to go in the first half. Both coaches, Harley Cleary and Tim Stack, will keep their 5 on the floor, at least for now. Second shot goes for Corey, able to salvage 1 of 2 and a 14-10 lead, and the biggest one of the game.
Probably played for the last shot here.
And Rue going back and forth with Carden, finds Hugh just inside the three-point stripe, no good, and tipped, and that'll stay off the foot of O'Corey, and it'll keep it with Elm Street. 8 seconds to go. Elm
Street catching a break right there as Nashua Catholic was about to get possession, but Corey's foot got in the way.
Rue with Dowling in her face, she'll inbound.
Nice
bounce pass, wide open, and a foul going up. That was number 5, Morgan Gillis. Found herself in no man's land. All of a sudden, she was in the middle of nowhere.
I think she found herself looking for a blue shirt, and there were none to be found. She couldn't believe how wide open she was.
And Gladbois to the line. That's her first foul. 5.3 seconds. Gillis. Good technique there. You know a confident free throw shooter when their release is nice and quick from the knee bend up to the release. Just one fluid motion. We see it again there. One swish, one bang. She's got it all covered.
And we call it beef. Balance, eyes, elbow, follow through.
14-12 score now as the clock winds out in the first half. And that'll be the first half of action. Surprisingly high second quarter scoring-wise, Jason, you think?
Yeah, I think it was a matter of both teams just getting used to the bigger floor, playing here at the high school certainly, and maybe some championship game jitters. They've both settled in. They both seem to be running their offense now through their primary players. As we mentioned, Caitlin West for Elm Street certainly, and Megan Stack for Nashua Catholic. And to play on your point, Matt, you'd mentioned that it seems like in the NBA a lot of the offenses are running through the bigger players, and a lot of that has to do with some of these bigger guys don't play with their backs to the basket anymore. They're being asked to bring the ball up the floor to begin with. So I think some of that transitions down into the youth levels, obviously, the college to the youth levels, and we're seeing that more here now. It also appears that both of these teams like to run a little bit. They like to get the ball and go, and it helps when you can dribble.
Yeah, pretty quick action in the first half. It's a 14-12 score with Nashua Catholic leading Elm Street, a 5-3 score after one. Both teams putting 9 points on the board. A dead tie in the second of 2 quarters, and it's 14-12 here in the 2018 Nashua Middle School Girls Championship on NashuaETV, and we will be right back with the second half of action. And welcome back to Nashua South. It's Matt Neverett and Jason Roby here for the 2018 Nashua Middle School Boys and Girls Championship games. The girls getting the leadoff spot in the championship lineup card, and Nashua Catholic leading Elm Street after the first half by a 14-12 score. It was 5-3 after quarter number 1, and then a 9-9 tie heading into halftime. And both teams really ramping up the offensive intensity because the defense has been there all game.
The defense has been there, and the offensive intensity getting ramped up. And you can tell based on the amount of fouls that were called in the late going of that first half.
And up top to Rue to West. She's been all over the ball. Drive back up top to Carden now with it. And Rue waiting for a Reader screen. She elects to go to the right, and a bounce pass looking for Reader. She goes to the ground. Good job to follow it up. And Carden off the front of the rim. Rue has a bounce right to her, and West driving past Reader finds herself in some open space. Step back jumper, the back of the iron, no good. Hugh starting 5 out there for Elm Street, and West ripping it out. The ball will stay with them. Almost a minute off the clock here in the third quarter. Reader spins around, overstacked. Second time she's done that today. 14-14 tie.
Great make there by Reader, and I will tell you that Elm Street got some really good looks there on that offensive possession. 3 offensive rebounds, and Reeder finishing it off with a nice move in the paint.
Here's Susie, and Hansen will try a drive, and she lost the footing. It bounces away and out of bounds, and Carden steps back to inbound. Nashua Catholic running a full court press here. Carden having a drive down the near side, throws over a double team, looking for Reeder. Stack, and that's Hugh into the corner, and a foul call to Stack. Was going over top of Caitlin Hugh.
Tough call there.
Skyler.
One of the things you look at too, Matt, is you want to stay out of the corners because you're going to get trapped at the baseline area. So you really want to try and keep that ball in the middle of the floor. Does Elm Street when they're breaking that press.
Here's Emily Dowling for Nashua Catholic, wearing all blue. Elm Street in the white and red, and Elm Street grabs a turnover. It's Skylar Rue. Jordan Rue. I was looking down at the roster, almost got nailed by the basketball.
I had you, Matt.
I'm glad. Cat-like reflexes. You were kicking them all over the place in the warm-up.
Even a blind squirrel finds a nut every now and then.
And you were the head football coach at Nashua North for what, 11 years?
I believe it was 11. Yes.
Something like that. I feel like someone should be keeping track of that. What is it like, and how often do you see these players, as a travel is called, and the ball stay, especially at the boys level? We're doing the boys game later. How often do you see them transition into relevant and good high school athletes, both at the football and baseball levels?
It's
basketball.
It's great. And as a high school coach, and you'll see here today the high school coaches for the boys and girls teams in Nashua high schools. They're here. They're watching because this is the feeder program. This is the future of their teams, and they're here watching today. And as a football coach, you always went to the to the different games. It was PAL or prior to that the Pop Warner teams in Nashua. You'd always go and watch who was going to be wearing your team's colors one day, and just to see what was coming down the pike. Talked to a couple of those kids earlier here today before the game. Curtis Harris, who played in the boys championship game last year for Fairgrounds, is now a starter as a freshman for Nashua North. Had a great game last night.
He was really good in football as well.
A great player. Yeah, and sky's the limit for that young man.
Multi-sport athlete, as it's a turnover under Nashua Catholic's basket, and another jump ball called. Who was he? Who's Harris playing for last year?
He played for Fairgrounds.
Okay,
and they won the title last year, and he obviously is one of the main reasons for that. And Coach Lane has indicated he's definitely become a very nice integral part of their basketball program.
And Gillis called for a foul. That'll be the second so far in a 14-14 tie. 5:47 to play in the third quarter. You'll remember in the first half, Elm Street used their full allotment of fouls as first free throw goes, and we're up at 10 into the double bonus by the time the first half ended. Daly up to the line for the second of two shots. Off the back of the rim, Stack over top of Reeder, and she's been a great rebounding advantage. Steps out for a shot of her own and just rolls around and out. And Stack, what do you know, finds it at her feet, picks it up. Susie, a long NBA range three, just barely missing. And Gillis coming out with the rebound, starting to get a little bit more creative with the offensive looks.
And again, they're not shy. They'll fire from wherever.
And here's Rue firing from wherever as she misses long. It'll be out of bounds, and it'll stay with the Eagles. Remember, I told you earlier that Nashua Catholic swept in 2016, the first year of the tournament, after the year prior in 2015 had gotten snowed out. It was supposed to be the inaugural year of this middle school tournament. And 2017, last year, Elm Street factored into both the boys and girls championships, as the girls, the defending champs, as they defeated Fairgrounds 43-40 in the championship last year. You saw it right here on NashuaETV. And then the most popular YouTube video on the NashuaETV channel, it was the Elm Street and Fairgrounds boys championship last year, in which Fairgrounds won 54-44. Almost 100,000 people have watched that online, and that's on top of the countless thousands that have watched it live on NashuaETV.
And I asked Curtis Harris, I said, Curtis, how many times did you watch that game? He said, I only watched it once. I said, okay.
That's at least what he told you.
Yeah, right.
Here's Gillis and Elm Street trying to repeat. They lead 15, or they trail rather 15-14, and Stack comes out of it. And Susie, a drive the other way. Carden with the defense, too much, and Dowling's shot is rejected. And West and Dowling going for it, and that'll go back to the Elm Street side as Corey checks in. 4:29 to play.
Pretty impressed here, Matt, with how both teams defensively are getting back in transition, and even the trailers on the defense are getting involved, blocking shots and getting rebounds.
And a good athletic full court press here for Nashua Catholic. Really hasn't disrupted the game too much, but starting to factor in here as Hansen grabs a turnover on a missed pass, a floater, no good. Dowling goes to the court, and a travel as she went down with it. And she's been sliding all over the place, going down and really playing strong defense.
Both teams very aggressive here as Nashua Catholic extends the full court pressure, but it looks like a Corey's going to get called for the foul.
Corey draws one. That's her second. 4:16 to play in the third quarter, 15-14. It's Elm Street trailing Nashua Catholic, and Cardin looking to inbound for Elm Street, gets it in there. And now we see that full court press really factoring in, but that's how you break it with good long passing. Gillis to Reeder, too much, but Gillis finds it and it's blocked. And Daly, nice move to cut to the inside. 3-on-3 the other way. Dowling off the glass, no good. Daly settles in. Corey and Gillis, and it bounces right to Reeder, holding it up top and now into West. Nice little exchange down low.
Both teams now getting into the back and forth. Not much to show from it. From a scoring aspect, but both these teams are in pretty good shape.
Open shot for Daly, and she put too much on it. Stack, good rebound to follow up. And who's that down low? That's Daly coming in, and she falls and turns it over. And Daly, all of a sudden, flying around, getting involved in the action on both sides of the ball.
And she got behind 3 Elm Street Eagle defenders.
Just kind of snuck in there, yeah. I didn't even see her underneath. And we got a timeout from Harley Clear, the head coach of the Elm Street Eagles, looking to repeat as the Nashua Middle School girls basketball champions. And here in the second half, it's 15-14, 3:32 to go in the third quarter. And we've seen a point from Nashua Catholic and 2 points from Elm Street here in the second. What do you think's changed between the second and third quarters? Because they've looked drastically different.
Well, I think, again, it's, you take a few minutes, and sometimes when you're playing well, you hate to see halftime come because you get into that rhythm, and now you're taken out of it and you have to start over again. And I think that's what both these teams are doing. I also think both teams now are applying some full court pressure, forcing you to beat them with good passing. And so I think that the top has gone back onto the basket a little bit. And just as we say that, again, here's your full court pressure from Nashua Catholic.
There you go. And Cardin faced with the challenge of a person inbound too, and it's tipped away. That's one of the big challenges in that defense is Megan Stack. She covers a lot of ground, as you saw on that last play.
And sometimes you're limited in the plays that you can run from the full court pressure because sometimes you try to break it with a long pass. And you have to wonder how many of these girls can get the ball three-quarter court throw.
Yeah, I mean, especially when you have Stack and a Corey, along with Gladbaugh, to stay over the top and not allow too much pressure in deep. But as I say that, Reeder gets past Gladbaugh, looking to penetrate, but she steps out and finds Ryu. Got a Corey off the ground, and Ryu throws a runner up, no good.
It was a great
Gillis trying to keep it in bounds, just tiptoeing the line, cuts inside of Stack, goes down, Stack goes down, and there's another jump ball. She'll rip it out, and this one should go to the Wildcats. 3:10 to play in the third quarter, 15-14, still our score. Emily Dowling barking out the play. Screens up top, and now Stack will roll. Had some space, and then a double clutch pass from Dowling, and Reeder steps in front and Stack to the line once again.
That was a great move there by Stack as she flashed to the elbow and then did a backdoor cut and was rewarded with a nice pass in the middle of the paint. Couldn't finish, but she'll get 2 shots here.
So for Reeder, that's her third foul, the third team foul of the half. As Stack misses just off to the right. And Hugh coming back in, so Reeder will take a seat with 3 fouls. Dowling and a Corey up top, awaiting the second of 2 free throws. Here's Megan Stack. No good, 0 for 2. That trip to the line, and West comes out with it. Has it stripped by a Corey, a nice defensive play, and she walks with it. And a lot of these plays, Jason, are just people trying to turn things around and getting a bit too anxious with the footwork.
And I think, again, it's too much dribbling. You know, you see an opening and you want to dribble through it. Your first instinct is to dribble through it. And I think you got to take the bounce out of the ball a little bit here. And
West, a good screen to allow Rue to get around, and Skylar Hugh on the ground and twisting too much, and another turnover, just like you were saying.
Yeah, these girls are, they get possession and it gets tied up, they go down to the floor, and you're going to get called for the travel.
So 2:40 to play in quarter number 3, 15-14, Nashua Catholic leading. Bounce pass, too hot for Stack to handle, just grabs it before it goes out along the baseline. Left-hand hook shot, nice touch from Stack, and that'll put her side up by 3.
Yeah, Stack showing nice touch with the left hand there.
Rue changing the tempo and going coast to coast, has to step out. Carden and Dowling going to the floor once again.
Another jump ball.
I feel like we see that every 20 seconds here. And that'll stop the clock with 2:17 to go. Carden comes up out of the pile and she'll look to rebound, or inbound rather.
And I think if you're Elm Street, Matt, you have to tell your team, look, we push the ball up the floor really well, but if we don't have the look we want, pull it back, run our offensive sets. They've done some nice things down on the low block. They've done some nice backdoor cuts that have been rewarded with good shots. Have to be more patient.
Dowling gets in front of the pass, but as it go out of bounds, it'll stay. Going towards the Elm Street direction. Over top to Rue. She'll reset the offense. Hansen coming out all the way to half court to play defense. And a crossover move over to West. And now Corey backing down with the left. Driving to the top is Gillis, running into the arm of Corey. And that's been where we've been seeing a lot of these fouls, is just people just sticking their hand in there late.
Corey did a real nice job prior to that foul of moving her feet and forcing the offensive dribble to the outside. And then when the ball cut through, she just reached in a little aggressively, got called for the foul.
So now Vanessa Reeder and Kalechi Okori with 3 fouls apiece, 3 fouls for each team in this half. It's DeRusha. She'll try a drive, pulls back out, finds Gillis, no good. Missing long, and it'll stay off the feet of Stack and with the Elm Street Eagles. 1:40 to go in a 17-14 game. Nashua Catholic clinging on to the lead that they really have not relinquished since they were up by 4 points at 16-12, and that was the highest lead of the game for either side. Under a minute and a half now to go.
Nashua Catholic making it difficult for Elm Street to penetrate here.
Bounce pass.
Good help defense there, excuse me, Matt.
I was glad boy able to step in front, and Hansen, a 2-on-4 chance with Dowling coming across the other side. Hansen doing exactly what you said there, Jason, and not liking the look. You pull up and reset it up top, and now here's Susie back to Hansen. Stack with a turnaround off the back of the iron. No good with DeRusha pulling it down. Under a minute to go.
I know that ended in a miss for Nashua Catholic, but that whole sequence there was very well done.
Rue throws up the right, and Skylar Hugh, an errant shot. And yeah, it's like you were talking about, where you get the drive, which is always good to have. No coach is going to complain about that. But if the look isn't there, and a lot of these 1-on-3, 1-on-4 chances, you slow it up, and you'll get a better look eventually. And Susie, not sure where that look came from, just kind of turning it around and chucking one up there. Under 30 to go, and now the biggest lead of the game for either side. A 5-point advantage for Nashua Catholic at 19-14, and DeRusha walks.
Yeah, Nashua Catholic opening up a little bit here, getting another turnover with a chance to push the lead to 7 or better.
Nashua Catholic scored 58 points in their semifinal matchup against Fairgrounds, so we know they can light up the scoreboard. And Dowling crosses up her defender. DeRusha able to slow her, just taking it away. In a mismatch here is Gillis being backed down by Stack. Another mid-range look from Susie. Same shot, same result. And a 21-14 lead for Nashua Catholic as we end the third quarter. And how about Susie finding the touch at the end of the quarter?
I'll tell you what happened right there too, Matt, is they're finding Stack down on the low post, and the defense is collapsing around her, which is allowing that mid-range jumper from the foul line extended to take place. And clearly Ava Susie making them pay.
So you look at the scores after each quarter. It was 5-3 after one. Real low scoring. Each team putting up 9 points in the second quarter to be tied, or rather Nashua Catholic with a 2-point lead. Coming out of the halftime break, and a 7-point lead for Nashua Catholic as they open it up there at the end of the third quarter. We head into the final quarter of play in the Nashua Middle School City Championship for the girls, and immediately following will be the boys championship between Fairgrounds and Pennachuck. Matt Neverett and Jason Roby on the call for both. Another production of NashuaETV. So, Jason, fourth quarter, 7-point deficit. What are you telling your team in the huddle if you're Elm Street head coach Harley Cleary?
Well, you got to win the quarter, clearly. You know, you have to be patient with your offensive sets, as we talked about. If you don't have the numbers, pull it out, look for the best shot. And the last thing, and I think the thing that made the biggest difference in that third quarter was breaking the pressure of the full court press of Nashua Catholic. Elm Street had some difficulty there, and I think they were able to get a bigger lead because of that full court pressure. So we'll see how Elm Street responds here.
And I think a lot of what helps in breaking a full court press is just spacing, just knowing where to be on the court in relation to your teammates. And that's something that comes with a lot of experience. And for Nashua Catholic, if they're able to run an effective full court press, it really creates a lot of mismatches at this level, as Stack is fouled by Reeder, her fourth foul of the game.
And it's clear, Matt, both teams work on both breaking the press and running the press in practices. So it's just a matter of repetition and doing what you're used to doing in a practice.
And the clock ticking now in the fourth quarter, under 7:45 to go. Susie has her shot hit the side of the backboard. Coming in strong is Service. She'll bounce it back out, and they'll reset up by 7 points. And Hugh, good jump to get in front. And Rue, who has not stepped off the court. Rue, Cardin, and West playing every minute of this game so far. They've been the core, and Reeder only subbing out with foul trouble, but she's got 4, and she remains in the game as West, as it bounces off her feet, finds Cardin, a baseline runner. Nice touch, and it goes 21-16.
Great runner there by Cardin. They didn't cut off the baseline. She took advantage. Nice little drop shot.
Ava Susie looking, and a miscommunication with Hanson. It's West. Nice pass to find Rue all alone driving down the lane, and a warm-up layup missed, and it'll go Nashua Catholic's way as we'll stop the clock. Just under 7 minutes to play, 21-16 lead for the Wildcats.
As this game gets a little bit longer in the tooth, those are the things you're going to look back on and say, you know, we really need to take advantage of those easy shots.
Susie will try and get past Rue, move to the left. No going, at a timeout called quickly. That's head coach Tim Stack for Nashua Catholic, and that's a 30-second timeout, and I think that one was out of necessity. Really no offensive looks, and you don't want to give up too much if you're trying to avoid giving up a comeback late.
Right, and one of the things that you saw there was, it looked to me like Nashua Catholic was standing around watching the action happening. There wasn't really a lot of movement away from the ball. There were no screens being set, and so the coach did a wise thing. Take the timeout now, get the kids regrouped. Susie clearly has had the hot hand here in the late going, but they can't just rely on her to keep popping.
6:47 to play, 21-16, Nashua Catholic with the lead. Same 5 coming out of the huddle for Elm Street. Nashua Catholic keeping their same lineup as before that timeout, and the inbound to Stack, and we're back underway. And Gladbois sees her defender trip up in front of her, and a scrum in front for it. And what do you know, whenever there's a scrum, it seems like Caitlin West always seems to kind of come up with it. We have a foul away from the ball. Susie's first.
And you tell kids all the time, you can't teach hustle. The reward from that play right there is possession of the ball.
And tipped off the hands of West.
That, well,
the old broadcaster's jinx, there you go. So 6:38 to play, still a 5-point lead. Inbound, looking across the court. Gladbois from just beyond the free throw line, wide to the left.
It was a good skip pass and a good look.
Anytime you can generate that much open space, can't be faulted for taking that shot. Rue in transition, an underhand floater, bouncing right to Hanson, and she'll turn things around. It's a 2-on-3 chance the other way. Service.
Yeah.
And a good job by Cardin, standing in front, taking the charge. So you want to talk about can't teach heart. That's the #1 measure right there in basketball.
Cardin saw the train coming down the tracks and did a great job of setting her feet, not moving, and as a result, Elm Street rewarded with the basketball. That's a great hustle play by Cardin, getting back and setting her feet.
That's just great court vision, knowing that you have the numbers coming back down the court on defense and setting the feet, and she'll inbound to Rue. And all it takes is one good pass to break the press, and now they have a 3-on-2 chance. Gillis spinning around, lost the handle on it. Diving down for it is Gladbois, and Gillis, and another jump ball. First one, at least, of the fourth quarter. Not the first one we've seen here this afternoon. 6:09 to play.
Both of these teams hustling. Matt doing a nice job.
Shot just off the front of the rim. Stack going over top on the defense and knocks down Hugh. Gladbaugh dribbles behind the back. She'll slow things up to the middle. Lots of pressure on that far side. She'll make a move to the opposite way. Finds service, she'll drive. On the run, Rue standing in front of that shot that went off the rim and no good.
It looked like Hansen really didn't know what kind of shot she wanted to take there. She was so wide open.
And a foul called on the shot. It'll be Morgan Gillis to the line. Kate Hansen.
Anytime you can score without the clock running is a good thing. So
5:40 to go, still trailing by 5. And here's Gillis. She went 1 for 2 earlier, now 1 for 3 as she misses the first. 16 fouls for Nashua Catholic and 14 fouls for Elm Street as Hansen checks out. Dowling and Daly into the game. Second of Gillis's 2 shots. No good off the front, but DeRusha in front and a foul on the floor. And DeRusha pushed off. It'll be a turnover back towards Nashua. Her 3rd foul. So DeRusha with 4, Reeder. Or DeRusha rather with 3, Reeder with 4. And Dowling will bring it up. Rue comes up to meet her. Stack, a mismatch on Gillis. She drives, avoiding the contact, and puts it in. Another big basket there that puts him back up by 7.
yeah, that's a really well-designed play there for Nashua Catholic as Elm Street gets called for the travel. Elm Street, or rather Nashua Catholic, spread the floor, hit Stack at the foul line, and it was clear sail to the basket.
Dowling over to Stack on the elbow. Gillis giving her a little bit of space. Now she'll get up in the grill. Here's Daly. Move to the middle, up top to Dowling. She tries a 3-pointer. It goes! What a shot!
Wow.
Just over Rue. A quick pull-up. Didn't even see that one coming. And all of a sudden, a double-digit lead for Nashua Catholic with 5 minutes and counting to play. DeRusha heaves up a 3. That was no good. Actually, a pretty good open look and a very close make. As Stack comes down the near side with the left. She's tied up in a double team. Gladbois, the open party from beyond the free throw line. She just misses. Here's Tarian. She'll grab her own rebound. Goes up strong with it. Another rebound for Tarian. Puts it on the floor. Dowling, mid-range jumper, no good, air ball. And Daly following up once again. A rebounding clinic and a 12-point lead now for the Wildcats.
That's just an example of Elm Street not getting body on body and boxing out Nashua Catholic. Nashua Catholic advantageous.
28-16. DeRusha. A pump fake. Stack guarding her tightly on the outside. ISO'd up on the wing. Back up top to West. Cuts all the way through. She gets tripped up. That was, I believe, a foot of Daly. We'll get a stoppage in play with 4:09 to go.
Yeah, looking like Elm Street trying to do more dribble penetration, whereas Nashua Catholic working the ball around the perimeter, reversing the basketball, getting the open look. And clearly making the shots.
Checking in his service. That'll send Tarian to the bench. 28-16, Nashua Catholic opening up a sizable lead here with under 5:10 to go, 4:10 rather, just about at the 4-minute mark, and a miss from West on the first end of a 1-and-1 as Stack gets caught up top. He's able to find a pass and then down to Gladbois. Tries a shot with the right and no good off the glass. Daly, a good rebounding force, pulls down another one and a tip out to Dowling. She's knocked on the way up. And out of bounds off a white jersey, so it stays with Nashua Catholic.
I'll tell you right now, Matt, Nashua Catholic getting all those 50-50 balls, those could go either way, and it seems like the hustle points are going Nashua Catholic's way.
And Reeder comes back into the game with 4 fouls, 3:47 to go. Wildcats leading by 12. Dowling to inbound to Stack. She has it stripped away from behind. West. Stack didn't even see it coming. West a cut to the left and a double dribble and a carry there as she was trying to wrap it around and just a bit too anxious with the hands.
Trying to go with a crossover dribble and didn't have the numbers.
Dowling crosses over Rue. Makes a pass to the inside. It's Stack on the right elbow. Swings it around. Back up top to Dowling. 3:30 to go. Daly cutting. Drives down in a bounce pass. Wide open is Stack. She's pressured on the way up by Reeder. And foul on the baseline. And I've got 5 on Reeder. We'll see.
That was a great pass on the baseline there.
Yeah, I think that they're going to say she fouled out.
That's it.
Morgan Gillis now checking into the game. She only has 1 foul, so.
Hey, you can't take them with you, so use them all.
28-16 as Dowling now rebounds. And that's a big loss because Reeder, one of the big rebounding and defensive forces guarding against Stack, and now she'll be out for the rest of the game. Stack has really driven around Gillis whenever she's wanted to.
And you take a look at the height advantage right now that Stack has on the floor. Be interesting to see how Elm Street tries to match up.
Dowling from underneath her own basket up top to Kate Daly. She'll drive with the left, no good. Pulls down her own rebound, throws up another miss. And Gillis off the bench fires one. There's that half-court pass we were talking about earlier. It's Caitlin West. She pulls up. So all the things that Coach Roby's been talking about, these Elm Street Eagles have been doing. And a missed shot from Cardin. Stack turning it around, and she'll reset up top with Gillis guarding her out near half court. Daly guarded by Cardin. Dowling tipped on the way up by Rue, and Stack sees it go in and out of her hands before Caitlin West pulls it down. 2:43 to play. She pulls up, blocked by Stack. A block party on both ends. And back and forth action. I'm going to talk about a height advantage there. She tried to go way up there, and a foul called on West. That'll be 7 on Elm Street. Now both teams in the bonus and an even at 7 fouls.
At this point, you have to wonder a little bit if Nashua Catholic can afford to be a little more patient on the offensive end instead of just throwing up shots. They have the lead. Work the basketball around.
Stack front end of a 1-and-1 goes. Checking into the game is the younger sister of Jordan Rue. That's Taylor Rue in 6th grade. Nashua Catholic made up of all 7th and 8th graders. Elm Street intermixing in a handful of 6th graders. And so now Taylor Rue and Jordan Rue on the court. See if we can keep this straight. It's Jordan with the ball to bring it up the court.
Stack hitting both of those free throws.
So 30-16 now, a 14-point advantage, and a double dribble called on Jordan Rue as Cardin came in to set the pick, and I think distracted her a little bit. She kind of took her eye off of what was going on, and just kind of without thinking about it, dribbled with the ball in the hand the second time.
Let's see how quickly Nashua Catholic tries to get a shot off here, or if they're just patient. Or if it won't matter at all because we have a
foul away from the ball.
I'm just going to stop talking about it.
Yeah, do me some favors, right? That's Gillis calling for her second team foul. But one thing I wanted to point out, Jason, is that in the semifinal games, it was 36-27 in Elm Street's victory over Pennachuck. As Jordan Rue misses and Okori brings it down. And for Nashua Catholic, they put up 58 points on Fairgrounds. And in last year's championship was Elm Street over Fairgrounds 43-40. It seems like a lot more points were scored in the games in years and even games past. A good defensive effort from both sides today.
Right, and that comes down to the first quarter. What was it? It was single digits for both
5
teams,
to 3.
5-3. And
I think a lot of it has to do with the pressure near half court that both teams have applied, not allowing either team to settle into any kind of an offense. And a lot of what you see there, a lot of turnovers going back and forth, especially at the beginning. Not a clean game at the beginning, but that second quarter, both teams really picked it up.
And there you see where Stack dribbled herself into a corner against a full court trap and got caught on the baseline, on the sideline there. And that's the one thing you can't do. You don't want to try and break a press like that with your dribble, and if you do, you certainly don't want to go up the sideline.
There's Jordan and Taylor Rue applying the defense. Jordan will check out, and Taylor will stay in. So we've had at least one Rue in at all times in this game. 1:29 to play, 30-16. Nashua Catholic Wildcats leading the Elm Street Eagles, and driving and firing with the right, no good. That's Emma Service. Cardin will bring it down the near side with the right, blazing past the defender. Daly will go and meet her. A pull-up jumper from Cardin, no good. Hits both ends of the rim, over top of Taylor Rue. Tries to steal on the backside. Morandi over to Okori, and Daly incomplete off the hands. Second down.
And I don't see the necessity for really trying to push the ball right now if you're Nashua Catholic.
Only 1:06 to play, a 14-point lead, which has been their greatest advantage of the day. Taylor Rue with the clock moving a little quicker now, under a minute to go. Finds it in the corner. That's Morgan Preston in for the first time in the waning minutes of the 2018 Nashua City Middle School Championships. It's the girls' championship. Stack pulls down another rebound, and Nashua Catholic well on their way to their second victory in 3 years in the girls' division. And a nice shot will add to their total. Service, or rather Hansen, from just inside the three-point line.
And Stack has just been everywhere for Nashua Catholic here this game, Matt. And really has done a terrific job on both ends of the floor.
And Stack in 7th grade, so she'll be on this team again next year. So Nashua Catholic, a team to look out for even next year. Cardin just kind of throwing it up there as the clock with 5 seconds to go, turning it over. Here's Taylor Rue, 2 seconds, 1 second. Stack will grab it, hold on to it, and a 32-16 final between Nashua Catholic and Elm Street. Jason, your final thoughts?
Well, I think both teams, once they, got into their half-court offenses, clearly for Nashua Catholic, it goes through Stack, and she had a terrific game, both offensively, defensively, distributing the ball, using the left hand, just from the foul line, things that you sometimes don't see middle school kids doing. And as a 7th grader, she can do a little bit of it all, bringing the basketball up the court in the second half as the point guard. So I think she was the difference in this one. And Nashua Catholic, as you mentioned, going to be a pretty formidable team next year as well.
And Nashua Catholic played extremely well defensively in that second half, only allowing 4 points for Elm Street in that second half. They outscored them 18-4 in the second half of the championship game, which they have won. They are your 2018 Nashua Middle School City Champions. That's the Nashua Catholic Wildcats. We'll be back with the second half of our doubleheader. It'll be Fairgrounds taking on Pennachuck, the Nashua Middle School Boys Championship, coming up right here on NashuaETV.